Ho, ho, ho! Welcome aboard the sleigh ride of Suds, the Spit or Swallow Beer Review's Christmas extravaganza, with your trusty guides, Shagdog and Jammer, steering you through the snowstorm of brews. No lagers left unturned, no stouts snowed in, no ales untasted in this festive froth fest. So hang up those stockings, pop open a cold one, and let the jingle bells of joyous beer banter ring. It's a Christmas cheer like no other. Stay frosty, folks.
Hey, welcome to Spit or Swallow Beer Review. I'm Jammer. Hey, I got Tampa Bay Brewing Company's Coral Head IPA. It's 7% ABV. Gets 88 by the BA. Oh, by the way, this is the continuation of our Christmas extravaganza, you know, bringing in the new year type thing. So, it's a mixture of Christmas and New Year's. So, and plus I got some leftover beers from back in the day for Fall Oktoberfest. Now I poured that hard, so I'm going to get a big, thick, frothy head. But it's quickly dissipating, so yeah, man, this is awesome. We got a comment already. What is this? Jammer fan. Hey, if you want to join, you let me know, man. I'll bring you on. You want to jump on, holler at me. Yeah. So anyway, Gamer fan, I hope you had a good Christmas and everything, and I hope the new year brings a prosperous, healthy, and full of joy and love and friendship. All that wonderful stuff, man, for everybody out there. Let's see, where am I at? Oh, there we go. All right, so yeah, got a hazy yellow color, orangey yellow color. Head is kind of stopped dissipating at 2 fingers. Looks nice and inviting, frothy and everything. Let's just go ahead and give it a sniff. Man, getting some grapefruit and orange peel, along with some of the pine and earthy kind of dankness, you know, kind of tropical in a very many ways. Man, I'm a little off. Anyway, let's jump in. Yeah, that's rocking it, man. I tell you, this is became like my new all-time favorite brewery. You know, almost every beer I've had by them has been very good. This is Tampa Bay Brewing Company's, close by, just across the bridge from me, and they've been rocking it. Every time I've tried one of theirs, it's been really good. And that is a testament to their brewmaster and everybody that works there taking the chance to make these beers something special, something great. I don't know. Hopefully y'all can hear me still, because I have to move the microphone. Sometimes it's finicky, so... Man, I hope everybody had a good Christmas. I had a decent one. I told everybody not to buy gifts. I said, don't buy any gifts. Just keep the money, and let that be my gift to you. Just keep the money, you know. They still bought a couple little things, but you know, nothing like they would go out and do on a normal basis and everything. I'm past this whole commercialism thing, you know. You don't need to have a bunch of gifts just to have a good Christmas, you know. Yeah, orange, grapefruit, maybe even a slight little mango in there. Nice and tropical. nice and fruity. I'm really enjoying this. It's got like a dry finish that's kind of resinous and kind of just like playing on you to where you want another sip. You know what I mean? And it's got like a medium mouthfeel. Got plenty of bubbles there. I still see some bubbles coming up there, but leaves a nice lingering bitterness that's not harsh or overpowering. It's just really nice and makes you long for another sip. So overall, this beer is pretty darn good. What kind of grade do I give it? It does have what Jammer fan enjoys me saying, that kind of dirty dish rag smell. But anyway, the grade, I'm gonna have to. It's got a nice sweetness to it, but it's not over. It's not super sweet or anything. It's right there in the middle ground, and it's complemented by the contrast of the bitter, piney grapefruit and orange type zesty peel. Jibber fan. Oh, you messaged me? Okay, hold on. Man, did you message? Yeah, you did. All right, hold on. Let me. Man. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Where you at? There you are. Let me go ahead and send you this. Ooh, boy. Invite. Okay. Tell me if you got that. Inquiring minds want to know. Or otherwise, I just put it on here on the YouTube thing if you didn't get it. Oh, have you got it, my friend? If you didn't get it from my... Okay, let me just do this then. Send it to myself. And I'll send it to you. Oh, wait a minute. I seem to have some stranger on here. Hold on. There we go.
What's up, man?
You hear me all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, doing good, man. You had a good Christmas and everything?
Yeah, but on the screen, it looks like there's multiple. Yeah, but on the screen, it's looking all crazy for me, dude.
What do you mean?
There's like another window open underneath. I don't know if it's something with StreamYard on my end.
That's that background that usually pops up on Shagdog put it in there.
Oh, no, I just fixed it. I had to exit out of it. It was this little floating thing. It was like two windows open at once. Fucking Shagdog.
Okay. Yeah, it was his fault.
Sorry, I figured it out. To be honest with you, I'm kind of on the tail end of some morning drinking. So have you ever woken up in the middle of the night I guess not middle of the night, but it was like, I usually get up about 7 and it was like 4 a.m. and I'm like, I'll drink 2 beers to go back to sleep. And then that all of a sudden becomes a third. And then all of a sudden I'm like, fuck it. I guess I'm day drinking and now I'm going to take a nap. I mean, I'm on vacation right now, so I wouldn't do that on like a work day.
Well, I am in a similar situation where I got some days off here, and granted, I got a lot of work going to be done around the house here, so I'm not like I'm going to be able to do a bunch of videos all the time, but I'm going to try to do a few.
Oh, me too. So kind of funny story. So every year I have kind of this tradition where, so I really like Julia's family. They're awesome. And she goes to New Mexico to visit them every year. But we have these special need cats that have to give medicine every day and all this stuff. Basically, you need like a live-in person. So we'd be paying like $100 a day for 10 days plus tip. and like the Rover fee or whatever to get, or pay a friend or whoever to come. But no, it's hard to find a friend to do it over Christmas, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, like nobody wants to come and stay at our house for like an entire day on Christmas or Christmas Eve to like.
Yeah.
We have a cat that has this thing called stomatitis. It's this inflammatory mouth thing, and they have to get steroids every day. So you have to do the steroids every day, and it's a thing. And so, and then also just airfare, like the fact that I hate I like traveling by car, but I hate airports. I mean, everybody does, but I'm not afraid of the plane going down. I almost want it to go down when I'm flying because it sucks so bad. I'm like, somebody just turn this motherfucker. Like I'm not like, I don't have a fear of flying. I just hate fucking airports, man. I really don't like them.
Made it really bad since the 9/11 stuff and all that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just ridiculous. When you have to spend anywhere between 2 to 4 hours at an airport, you know,
just getting checked in or whatever. Like they say, you have to like
getting ready, getting boarded, all that time just sitting there in the tarmac, in the plane, waiting to take off, all that stuff. You know, our parents and grandparents, they had it good in the sense that you could buy a ticket that day at the counter, go down to the gate, walk right into the plane, you know, or walk across the tarmac, up the stairs into the plane, you know, that kind of stuff, and then get on the plane and go. You know, you didn't have to be there and wait, you know.
Yeah.
Today it's all screwy. Oh, let me give you the grade on this beer real quick. This is, to me, it's a.
So can you recap it really quick? Because I didn't watch any of the video because once you said, "Hey, you want to join?" I was messaging you and stuff. Just if you could tell me the style and the name of the beer really quick before you grade, I'd appreciate it because I'm interested. I want
Coral Head IPA by Tampa Bay Brewing Company. It gets an 88 by the BA. It's 7% alcohol.
Okay. Is it a hazy or is it American West Coast or what is it?
According to Beer Advocate,
I mean, it looks hazy. I guess I could answer my own question. It looks
they're
hazy.
claiming it's just a regular American IPA.
Okay. Huh. Maybe unfiltered then. It looks hazy from here to me.
Yeah, it is hazy, golden yellow, amber.
But so is, I don't know if you've probably had the, it's from Bell's. I think it's the one with the fish on it. They're double-hearted, two-hearted IPA or whatever. Yeah. I think that one's like bottle conditioned and it's like cloudy, you know, like so it looks like a hazy, but it's not. So maybe it's a situation like that.
Yeah, this company though, I mean, almost all their beers I've really enjoyed, and it's become one of my new favorite companies, Tampa Bay Brewing Company. And like I was about to say, B+ and a swallow and a quarter because it's easy to drink. It hits all the notes. It's got that a slight little mango in there. It's got orange and grapefruit, and it's a piney, resiny, you know, and all that stuff. It's got that dankness that I say that is like a dirty dish rag, you know.
Yeah.
So
well, sorry to interrupt your flow, man. I feel bad now. I didn't want to like interrupt you when you were trying to give your score and stuff, but I just jumped into the video. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I get an idea then.
I'm jumping right into it, man. I can repeat everything I said because I got it all up here.
No, it's all good. Yeah, sounds good, man.
It'll be gone once I close the video, and then if you ask me about it, you know, I'd say, you know, I think that was pretty good if I remember correctly. But yeah, you know, because man, I don't know if you've had as many beers as Shag Dog and I have had, but
I mean, honestly, I would say I probably had. The other day, I was figuring out how many beers I've had because, man, I've lived in a couple different states that were beer hubs. I would say I probably tried about 3,000 beers if I had to guess. Yeah, I think you guys have beaten me easily, but
yeah, I think 2 years ago, back on our old channel, was it 2 or 3 years ago? 4 years? 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years ago on an old channel, we had almost 3,000 videos. Now, granted, some of those videos were repeat of the same beer and all that stuff, and some of them, but we're not even talking about the beer I've had outside of making videos.
Yeah.
So you're looking at quite a few beers. I go in a store and I look and I say, I've had that. Oh, that's something different. Well, no, I'll skip over that, you know, and I'll keep going, you know. it's something that you it's kind of hard to find a beer you haven't had unless you go to small craft breweries that's regional or just in a certain city or state. And
Well, luckily for me, Colorado is crazy. There's some breweries that release a new different beer every week with a different name, different label. That's WeldWorks. But then you have other companies that are still releasing, instead of 4 seasonals, like one for each season, they'll have like 20 seasonals that like are all unique. And then, so man, every time I go into the liquor store I go to, which is down the street, there's always so many beers I haven't had. It's like overwhelming how many beers I haven't had. It's the exact opposite problem. But I'm like, crap.
Yeah. There's when you go into those type of places, you'll find you haven't had a lot, but you look at the mainstream beers that are on the market that you're gonna get.
Yeah, like if I go to the grocery stores can finally sell beer in Colorado, and if I go in there, it's just the big brands, it's like mixed packs, and I'm like, yeah, I've had all these. I get what you mean. You know?
All the craft brewers are vying for space on the shelves in these grocery stores down here, so. Some of them will get a little space here and there every so often, and so they rotate them in and out all the time. And so, when I see them, I'm like, oh yeah, I had that, you know. Yeah. This one right here, I've seen this several times, but it was so popular in the sense that it was there all the time. I put it off and put it off and put it off until today, whenever let's do it, you know.
Yeah.
You know. You have no comment about me just being ahead?
I was going to say something. Again, I'm kind of at the end of my beer journey, so I was like, is this really happening? No, I think it's funny. I'm like, he must be wearing a green shirt or something. I don't know if you're green screening or a blue shirt or something. I was thinking about it, but we were getting into the flow, man. We're talking about beer. That's what the channel's all about. So I kind of like the floating head. So like, you know.
I thought that was perfect for this video, being that it's coral head, you know.
Yeah, no, it's pretty funny.
This is all this is what's so great about some of the things that I have done over the years. It's just I think subconsciously I maneuver into different paths and everything, and or directions in general, and I just happen to be wearing this green shirt today.
And you just got on. Like, oh.
And I looked and said, fuck, this works out perfect. Coral head. I'll just keep this shirt on. I'm comfy. You know. Yeah. It's just like whatever Shag Dog and I did the Back to the Future, the Old Man and all that kind of stuff, videos and everything. Yeah. That was all on the spur of the moment. It was Halloween. We said, hey, let's go get a mask. And we found some old men masks that day that we were doing to do videos. Turned around and said, oh, we could do this. We could do future selves, you know?
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, we're doing video.
That was 8 years ago, at least. I'm trying to think back because I joined your guys' channel. Really, I got like in early on Spitter's Pub Beer, and I remember seeing that stuff. I would say it's probably 8 or 9 years old. I mean, I think the channel's 12 years old now, maybe 11, 12,
somewhere around there. Yeah.
So
2011. So yeah.
Maybe
last little bit of 2011, November, December area. We started it.
So that'd be 13 then, like just turned 13.
Yeah, we should be celebrating that kind of thing. This should be our birthday, you know.
Yeah, like right before New Year's, you know, or just even call it New Year's, you know. You could just say you guys started in 2012 because it was right before 2012, and then this would be the 2025. Then would be the 13-year anniversary. That's a long time, man, to be making videos and doing stuff.
This has been the longest running hobby that we've had.
Yeah.
And I wonder why, you know, I don't understand how this hobby would go, you know, be able to compete against bicycling and bowling and everything. I mean, this hobby itself, I just don't.
I think it's because it gives you a buzz. I think it's because this hobby is a drug, Jammer. It's called doing drugs. No, I'm just kidding. It's because it's like.
But seriously, it works, man. Something that we've enjoyed doing. So, and In fact, I was telling Shagdog, I said we need to start recording some videos and start giving it a higher production level again, because these live videos are fun sometimes, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like to be
It's
a
just
little.
tough that you guys, when you guys lost the ability to be in person and to do those in-person videos, it like
Mm, yeah.
those were, those were the really classic videos. And it's not like you guys still can't do good content, it's
Mm,
just, those are the halcyon days. I don't know if you ever heard that term, like,
mm,
those were like, and you adapt, you do whatever. Like, man, I've had really good friends move away, or I've moved away, and it
mm,
sucks. Like some of the best podcasts I listen to, it's people that they do the podcasts in the studio, so they're not doing like a Zoom. You can almost tell that they're like, have you
mm.
heard of Armchair Expert with Dak Shepard? Is probably the
Oh yeah.
biggest. He flies people to the studio, so they're in the studio all together, and you have this intimate environment where you're there in person.
Yeah.
And I think COVID kind of normalized like the Zoom kind of thing,
Yeah.
which is nice. Like right now, yeah, I'm not in
The
Florida, so I
technology is
can't.
wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
It's great because, like you said, right there, you're in Colorado, I'm in Florida, and we're doing a video together. That's
yeah.
awesome.
But there's a magic of being in person,
Yeah.
kind of. You know, it's interesting in when they do animated films, sometimes they have a problem because the actors come in one by one and they just do their voice. They're not around the
Oh
other
yeah.
actors, so they really have to work with the voice director to be like, no, be more like this or this or this. But it's like, yeah, when you're just not, I don't know. But
That's just like when they're recording music and everything. They like in particular look at this is just a rough example, but there's been plenty of bands and people that will push for
yeah,
this. But in particular, like "We Are the World," "We Are the World"
yeah.
song and everything. They brought everybody
Oh
in
yeah,
to record it
yeah,
together at that moment, and each one did their little bit, but they recorded it all together. It's just like I forget who it was. I know the Beatles did it. They wanted to have the band there and all the instruments there playing in the same room, and stuff like that. They didn't want
yeah,
to have them behind a cubicle, whatever,
yeah,
soundproof cubicle doing their part. They want it all together so that it was you catch that kind of live feel.
yeah. Yeah. I never really got into the Beatles until a few years ago. Julia really loves the Beatles, and before we met, I think I just filtered out the Beatles. I couldn't have even named a Beatles song, and I've slowly been exposed to the Beatles and stuff. And it's like not necessarily like my favorite kind of like genre, but they're just so talented, and they wrote so many good songs that it's
That's the
kind of
big
hard
thing.
to.
That's the big
Yeah,
thing.
it's
Almost everywhere you go, you're going to hear one. Especially if you ever in a grocery store or department store or whatever over the Muzak, you're going to hear the Muzak version, or you're going to hear somebody
yeah,
doing a rendition
yeah,
version. And I
yeah,
mean, look at Ray Charles. People, all these different people doing their songs. Ray Charles was one particular. He did was that the Yesterday. So
yeah,
yesterday, and
yeah. No, yeah,
he did his version, and he did a really
yeah,
good version. But there's several versions out there by him.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, by the Beatles, the song. There's several different versions of it by other
Yeah.
artists and everything.
And they did a lot of covers. Like I kind of like have an idea of
In
their
the beginning, yeah,
discography. The beginning, yeah, they did a lot of, but their twist and shout that they do. I don't know if you ever heard their version.
yeah,
It's man, I like it. It's good, but
that's a classic one. I
yeah,
like Chubby Checker. I like all them others, but
yeah,
the Beatles are like, yeah, they spot on, got it.
yeah. Oh, the Beatles version is great. I guess I got to be in the right mood for that. I mean, what kind of genres of music do you listen to, Jammer? I don't think I know probably classic rock and stuff like that.
Well, let me
But
tell you, my dad, when growing up, my dad, you never knew what you're going to hear on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, whatever, when he got up, he'd be
nice.
playing. One moment it might be classical music, next moment it might be blues, and next it'd be bluegrass, country music. He was all a big band, Frank Sinatra, Dean
Oh, dude,
Martin.
I'm a huge Frank Sinatra guy. Also, just got into like Fly me to the moon. Like I just like
Let me play among the stars.
So
Let me see what life is like on Jupiter or
Mars.
Mars.
Yeah,
In other
nice man.
words, please be
Please be
true.
true.
In other
In other
words,
words,
in
I
other
love.
words.
I messed it up.
Oh, you have.
In other words, I love you. Yeah. So and then now a Halloween staple here is we watch the Disney the Headless Horseman one where it has all the Bing Crosby stuff. It's like Ichabod, say Ichabod. It's like Ichabod, Ichabod Crane. Like it's like this great, the Bing Crosby's, it's like the crooners, man. I like the crooners. Now, Jammer, were these vinyl? Was this vinyl your dad was playing?
All vinyl. I mean, granted,
Okay.
in the vehicle, I can remember him having 8-track in the vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talk about listening to classic people. I knew who Bo Diddley was.
Oh, okay.
And Bo Diddley came out with the song I'm a Man, right? And it's the
Yeah.
same exact music and everything that bad George Thorogood and the Destroyers with Bad to the Bone, So,
Oh, yeah.
I see the differences. My friends in school and everything, why you listen to that old music and all that stuff? I said, the music's not old. It's the same music that you're hearing today. It's changed just very little. I said, the only difference is they did it first. It's like Aretha Franklin. She would be on there, you put the diss on me, baby. Diss, right? You put the diss on me, baby, until we're alone again, Your love is like a seesaw, yeah. Anyway, in school when I was growing up, they would say, "Oh, you dissing me, Holmes? You dissing me?" Yeah. And so they would say something. I said, you think you're being cool, thinking that's a new word and all. That word's been around since the '60s, if not later. So,
Yeah.
I listen to everything. I'll give everything an opportunity to go through my ears. Just to hear it. If it's good, if it's telling a story, or if it's just got a good beat and all that stuff, I'll listen to it. Now, granted, there's some stuff I hate, some stuff I can't tolerate, but it's very little because I can find the art in it. And there's stuff that I hear and I'll say, oh man, that, okay, not my particular taste, and I would probably change it and it'd probably be more commercial if you did it this way, but that's a good beat, or that's some good words, or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff today, it's been generated to because they've found out the algorithms. How long a person will listen to the song before they tune out. What is the most successful tones and hooks and stuff like that, and they now they got AI. They'll generate AI generated music and play it off as being that they wrote it or whatever, and it's not that great.
There's some awful stuff out there. Jammer, you brought up a really good point about something earlier, saying that I don't know, I don't know if you said Saturday or Sunday mornings or just weekend mornings, but having your parents put on music and coming down while they're playing music in the house, that's a definitive childhood memory of the previous generations. These new generations don't have that. And these kids are fucked up, man.
Yeah,
like,
they are.
Like they're antisocial, and people are like, oh, I'm neurodivergent, I'm on the spectrum. And look, I know I don't want to be unsensitive about mental illness, right? Because I think anxiety, depression are real things, but they have so many things. I feel like they just invented, oh, I'm neurodivergent. What the fuck does that even mean?
When do you finally say to yourself or to somebody else, you know what? It's time to say fuck it, and it's time to say get over it. It's time to say grow a pair, that kind of thing. You can't. Yes, you're suffering this, or you're going to go but you know what? You can either wallow in it and your self-imposed prison, or you could try your best to rise above it and say, "Fuck it, man! I'm not gonna let that define me. I'm not going to let that be me. I'm going to go out there and be living my life. And yes, it's going to be harder for me because I do suffer from this. But guess what? I'm not going to let it anchor me down. You know, nothing going to break my stride. Oh no.
Yeah. Well, the worst thing
Ain't
is they
nothing
want
gonna break my stride. Ain't nothing gonna
yeah,
get me.
ain't nothing holding me down. Oh no! Isn't it kind of like Jamaican sounding? It's like, oh no, you got to keep on moving.
But no, seriously, I really believe, you know, the difference between our great grandparents, grandparents, and all that stuff. They were the generation that had to basically say, oh, you know what, life's not fair. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, you know, I don't know why I feel this way, but yeah, I don't feel like I'm very happy, or I feel depressed or whatever like that. You know, but you know what? I got to live. I got to go out there and make money, and I got to get, you know, take care of the kids, or I got to take care of, you know, myself. I ain't got time for this shit. They had that pioneer spirit that it ain't going to get done unless I do it, so I might as well get to it, you know.
Yeah, and you know, each generation has gotten softer. Like we're definitely the people that had to live through World War I and World War II. None of these. I mean, I've never been to war. I mean, Jammer,
and you've never done without. In the real scheme of things, think about World War II and I and everything when they were rationing everything.
Yeah,
I guess the closest
the closest I experienced is like in COVID when they were rationing certain things, but that wasn't shit compared to, you know.
But that wasn't an official rationing either.
Yeah, it was just supply and demand shit.
Yeah,
people are already going. I was gonna say people are already going crazy with the Trump tariffs. They're stocking stuff up. I think it's more liberal people, honestly, that are afraid. You know me, I'm very in the middle, and I needed to get a new furnace and AC unit, and a couple months ago we had a company honor a quote they gave us back in March, and it was like super. I mean, 10 grand for a brand new furnace, high quality, and AC, all installed, everything. I bet you next year that'll be like. I mean, even other companies now are quoting me like I just did some like looking up some quotes. They were quoting me 19 or 20. So I don't know. Like this company was just crazy on the deals they were giving away. And I actually asked them about the tariffs. I'm like, are you guys like factoring in there's going to be tariffs? And this one guy's like, huh? Like he didn't even. He just says I don't follow politics. And like the owner's like just like he doesn't. And I'm like, he's probably going to find out because like. If they do put the tariff on Mexico, so every single part, I asked him, where are all these parts made? Where are these units made? He's like, oh, they're all made in Mexico. And I'm like, oh, that could potentially be more expensive to purchase that next year. So I got that big purchase out of the way. And again, I'll stop talking about politics, but I think Trump's using it as a bargaining chip to scare other countries to be like, because Trudeau's kissing his ass. Yeah, Trudeau's already kissing his ass in Canada. Like, he's like, you know, saying 51st state, he's the governor or the 51st state or whatever. Like, I will say this, like Trump is a shrewd negotiator, man. And he's the kind of guy you wouldn't want to play chicken with in a car because he will crash right the fuck into you. He's not going to swerve. No. Like worst case scenario, everybody dies, you know?
I honestly think that there'll come if he was playing chicken, there would come a point that he would swerve. But he's still getting hit. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. He's still getting hit because he's
maybe he clips the bumper to send a message.
He's coming that close, close, because he's anticipating that you're going to swerve.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not that hard, really, when you think about it. You look at the guy Trudeau, or you look at certain leaders and everything, and you start to look at them and actually factor in how they've done things in the past and how they are now, and you can kind of get the idea that I can push them over. I can get this passed because they're going to give in before I do.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know about you, but I've done this over and over again. When I see people and work and out in life and everything, I'll sum them up, and how I sum them up is I'll turn around and go, okay, if I was in high school right now or in elementary school right now, which one of these people would this person be? Would it be the person that tattletales and goes running off to the teacher to say, "Hey, that person did this or that," or is that the hall monitor, or is that the bad dude, the bad kid, the one that's always getting in trouble, or is that the nerdy one, or is that the preppy one, that kind of thing. And once you get them in the category of how you think that person would be, you kind of can anticipate a lot of things when it comes to their behavior. Now, granted, you can't anticipate everything because you got to know the person a little bit to be able to say, okay, so I know this person doesn't like this and they would make the decision to do this, so I can anticipate that making a decision like that would cause them to make a decision like this over here on this topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I can already move ahead that move, like playing chess. You try to figure out 3, 4, 5 moves ahead by anticipating what your opponent's going to do. It's the art of war, man.
Yeah.
What is it? Is Sun Tzu, or what are
Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Art of war, man.
One of his favorite sayings is, "Don't stop an enemy if they're doing damage to themselves." Like, sometimes you'll have an enemy that, for what he now it's
help
different.
Foster it.
Yeah.
Help it.
Well,
along,
even just leave him alone. Like, how it pertains to what he was saying is that there were bad weather conditions coming in. Yeah. So Sun Tzu knew if he met this army, he was going to meet this army in this valley for combat or something, right?
Yeah.
But he knew these bad conditions were going to come in, and that it was going to create conditions where the men were going to be. It was really hot weather, so it was going to be. There was going to be a lack of water, which that'll drop a man pretty quick. You get him sweating out, and there's no water.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I didn't mean to break your flow, man.
Okay, I'll come right back.
I didn't mean to break your flow. I just had a situation where I needed to make sure that I took them out of the freezer.
Oh no! Sounds like you're cooking later. That's a good thing. No, I mean I'll speed run what I was saying. Just that, like, there were weather conditions where Sun Tzu knew that it was gonna be hard to get water for the troops and hard to even get food. So he kind of faked like he was going to meet this army, but then they turned tail and they went to this valley where there was like resources, and this army amassed in this place. And by the time they got all set up and realized, they just all died of thirst and starvation before they could even like get out of there, even before combat. And there's been other times too that, he would wait for them to send troops somewhere, and then he would attack from the other way, and they'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you don't even need to even lift a finger and you can defeat your opponent, And
that's that's what I believe China's doing.
Yeah, they're trying to.
China, well, think about it. If you want to weaken a nation and everything like that, get in control of their pharmaceuticals, get in control of their food supply, get in control of everything. But look, they sent toys with lead paint over here. They sent sheetrock that was moldy sheetrock, people putting it in their homes, making people sick. Now they got they got a stranglehold on pork because they bought, Smithfield and I think another one all together. So they basically control the pork to a degree, and the pharmaceuticals, they're making all kinds of drugs over there and ship them over here. Why would you want them to make the drugs? I don't understand. Why would you want any country that, I understand doing business with some countries, but this country, you never know anything about. You don't know if they're a friend or foe.
I don't like buying Chinese stuff, or at least not Chinese stuff I'm going to like consume or like touch a lot or something. Like,
and then on top of it, the stuff, the bones and the raw hides and stuff for the animals that come from China, killing dogs and killing the different pets and stuff like that. I mean, come on.
Fuck.
And they're not even trying. Really, they're not even trying to kill you. But here they're already doing this much damage. And
it didn't help that, like, I've seen this thing where I forgot what they're called, like not penguins, but penguin or poquins, or it's those weird fucking little animal things that they think cause COVID-19, along with maybe bats, like paquins, or I don't know. Like they have those like exotic meat markets where people are eating fucking monkeys and shit. Yeah. Man, that's kind of fucked up. But I realize in a poor country, people, if you're hungry, you'll eat. I mean, literally, you get somebody hungry enough, they will, even cannibalize somebody, which you would have to be really. Actually, I mean, I don't know, man. I think I'm going to opt out of that. Like, even if I'm that hungry, I guess everybody says that, right? Then the Donner Party happened.
The problem is that you don't know how crazy you'll get. Yeah, you would hope that you wouldn't be that crazy.
Yeah.
But, when you get that hungry, you just don't know what you're doing. When they're eating their own shoe leather and shoe and stuff. Yeah. You look at the Donner Party, look at the that expedition that went to the north. They made that
was Alive. They had that movie Alive, maybe you were talking. There was a movie Alive where the plane crashed in like the Alps. That's another one. I don't think that's what you were talking about, but that's another one.
The one I was talking about was a ship. It wasn't called the Bounty or whatever. It was called some other ship, and they were going up there, and they made a series on Netflix about it.
No, it's the Northwest Passage, right?
They were looking for the Northwest Passage, and they were up there and headed towards that direction. But there's
that huge polar bear creature that's like eating people. Yeah, is that the same one I'm thinking of? Julia actually was like, "Hey, I heard about this show. We watched it. I was so glad I watched it because it was good." But the cannibal
keep you on the edge of your seat there,
It creeps me out. The cannibal shit creeps me out though, man, because it's so disgusting to watch. But you can just see they're so hungry and like they're just like And man, they had all the contaminated tins of food and stuff. That was like fucked up. So they even had food, but they couldn't eat it, and then some people were eating it anyway
and going crazier.
Yeah, going crazier. Yeah. No. And then
none of them survived. None of them survived from that in real life. Yeah. That was based on a true story. None of them, the people survived from that. They just disappeared.
Yeah, at the end, I think it's just the one guy, the captain, who becomes like a igloo Eskimo, but he never talked to civilization again. They thought he was dead. They thought everybody was.
But that's them taking a artistic,
artistic thing. Yeah, artistic liberty. I'm glad you saw that show. It was what, the horror? I think.
Terror.
Oh, the Terror. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. The Terror. Yeah. That's a good show, man. Did you know they're going to do a new season, and each season's a different story, so that they're doing a new season with a new story?
What, with the Terror?
Yeah, they're going to still call it Terror, but it's going to be like an anthology where each season's a different, like completely different actors, but they're still trying to, I think they're still trying to take like a historical thing and make it into it,
Wow.
It's going to be I don't know what it's going to be based on and then when it's coming out, but I think it's coming out sometime in the next year or so.
Well, that should be interesting.
Like they announced it. They said they're doing season 2, and I'm like, who are you going to bring back? Like season 2, like even the monster's dead. Like everybody's fucking dead. And they're like, no, it's going to be like, these anthology, American Horror Stories, Tales from the Crypt, different story every time.
Well, that would be interesting, but I personally think that that was based on a whole true story. They took our artistic license with it, but I don't know how true it was that there was a polar bear and all that stuff. But it's crazy shit.
Have you ever heard of the story of Roanoke, that town that disappeared?
Another one.
A couple people have done that already. Like that's one of the most like adapted historical things, and sometimes it's monsters, sometimes it's like the Native Americans come in and slaughter everybody, or it's a disease. But yeah, there's these historical mysteries. But the Roanoke thing's weird. There's just everybody disappeared, and I forgot the phrase, but there's something carved on a tree. They just found like a phrase.
Yeah, carved on a tree, and I think they found some kind of rock, either formation or something. But this Harper's Ferry is another crazy one. Jamestown.
Oh, what's that one? I've never heard that.
Man, it had some battles and stuff. Oh, that thing fell. Okay.
I was like,
what the rock? That's close to my light. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to look it up to give you a real spirits.
Damn, man, you got some poltergeist up in there.
Yeah, but
Freedom
it's a
song.
crazy stories there. Golly, I can only remember it
Maybe the
as a
ghosts
little
don't
kid.
want. I think the ghosts don't want you to talk. I think some Harper Fairies ghost you pissed off. They're like, don't talk about the fairy. Like, don't
It
talk
might
about the
be
fairy. Bro.
because it's something that I remember as a kid going there and being in the area and all that stuff. But I can't and vaguely remembering some of the story. But it's a true
Yeah,
story and everything. It's crazy shit. But yeah, the
yeah.
whole Roanoke thing really is disturbing because they just disappear. So you don't know whether they are. Oh, Jimmy Carter died. Jimmy
Oh,
Carter
yeah.
died. Yeah, yeah. That's you heard it first here on TSOSBR.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he
he
was
said
up there.
he wanted to live long enough to vote in the 2024 election, and he did.
Yeah.
I'm sure, much to your chagrin, he voted for Kamala Harris, and he was really proud of it. And
I don't know why you would be proud of that. I'm sorry.
that's
Please
why I
forgive
said
me
much
if
to
you
your
did.
chagrin.
Please forgive me if
Again,
you did.
I'm middle of the road. I didn't like Kamala as a candidate, but I think the great orange one has a couple flaws that maybe should be looked at.
Oh, he was 100 years old.
Well,
Jimmy.
and just, I think he's funny, and I think he's a good showman, and I think that he needs to be surrounded by good people. Like when he said I'm gonna get all the best people. I
Yeah.
don't think this round he's getting all the best people because it's like Elon Musk and Fox News anchors, and I think I don't know.
I don't know what all that's about, but I will say this much: out of the two candidates, let's be honest.
Yeah,
It's been the same way for a long time. The lesser of two evils. I don't know if it is or not. I have no
yeah,
clue because neither
yeah,
party is for the people. Neither party
yeah,
is. I don't care what anybody says. Neither party is for the people. Until you find somebody who is not going to be controlled by a party, it's just like
yeah,
them voting on the keeping the government going and all that stuff. You want to fill up that bill with a bunch of pork. What the?
yeah,
Why are you doing that? The country needs to keep going. So why wouldn't you just do something, a bill for the country, for the people, for the
yeah,
country to keep going? Why do you have to tack on this and that? Because I'm this person and my constituents need this and my party wants this. So if you want my vote, you need to do that, put it in the bill, right?
yeah.
And so what do? Okay, we'll put it in the bill. We'll add it to it and it'll get through because guess what? It's something that normally wouldn't get through if it was voted on by itself, but we'll get it through for you because we need to vote on this and everybody's going to vote yes on this.
Yeah. But sometimes it is about the lesser of two evils. It's kind of like there was a Trump presidency before in 2016, and there were a lot of positive economic impacts during that
Yes.
time. And in the Kamala Biden administration, I think that so every country experienced inflation. It wasn't like just America, but there was probably choices made in the budget, the Anti-Inflation Act that just threw trillions and trillions of dollars, probably away on bullshit.
And I
That
think you
that
said it before whenever she said that. I think you're the one who told me about this. I might be wrong, but they
maybe.
asked her what would she do different than what Biden is doing, being that she was going to be running for
And basically,
president.
no, right? She's like, nothing. It
Oh,
would be the
nothing.
same.
No, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, she's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's in denial.
Yeah. I mean, I think they did a good job at managing me. I mean, I think they maybe stopped America from like going completely into a recession, which would have been really bad. But at what cost? Like the inflation causes different damage on the economy than a recession does. A recession, prices don't necessarily change, but employment goes way down.
Yeah.
So you have people that are really broke and can't afford things. But what we had was like they were pumping the economy full of stimulus, and wages were even kind of going up. Like I remember
Let's print more money.
at the height of the pandemic, I remember one Walmart near me was hiring for 26 an hour, and I think now they're down to 18. But like people were just getting pumped with like a bunch of money, and then it just kind of spiraled. And then, I mean, let's face it, these big companies, I think you work for a big company. when they see a chance to raise prices without customers being too mad about it, because you can blame it on something, they do it and they never go back down. It's never going to really
And
go back
besides
down.
that, this whole COVID thing, that was an opportunity for a lot of the big companies to get rid of these small companies that were siphoning off a lot of their business.
Yeah. And honestly,
not only that, but they were able to also get money from the government for COVID, and they kept that money. They were supposed to be able to pass it on to the people that were working and everything, for the workers to be able to come in, or if they needed to be off or whatever like that, they would get paid. And these companies turned around and made these subjective or arbitrary rules about, well, if you get COVID, we'll give you 1 week, and that's it. But yeah, it takes 2 weeks for you to recover from it. We'll give you 1 week paid, and force them to use their vacation time on the other. That's not right. You're getting paid by the government to give this money to them, and you just kept it for yourself. And I don't get me wrong, I don't really quite blame them, because the government allowed it.
Yeah, they allowed it. And, looking back, I think the response to COVID was kind of overblown, right? Like, there shouldn't have been as many shutdowns.
Way overblown.
That much stuff. I don't think masking, unless you had, so if you're wearing an N95, you have to get it fitted. It has to be flush all around. If there's even a tiny little pocket by your mouth or something, it doesn't matter if you're wearing the best mask on the planet, because people don't understand how tiny viruses are and stuff. So people wearing the bandanas or the surgical mask that didn't do shit, like, unless you have a properly fitted N95 or a fucking gas mask on, it's not going to matter.
And then on top of that, you have to follow all the protocols of how, okay, this is how I take it off. This is how I put it on. This is what I do after I take it off.
Yeah, and
it could be on my hair. It could be on my skin.
Yeah, so what you have to do is, somebody said they would go into their garage. They had 7 masks. Every day you get a new mask, and there's space. You hang them on the garage wall, right? And then they would have their spouse come in and like spray their pants and shoes down with disinfectant. It was like basically they were in a CDC facility. And at that point, is it even worth like living if that's what you have to go through every time you go to 7-Eleven or something? If that's the fucking case, just give me it now so I don't have to live through this fucking bullshit, right?
Let me tell you what. I traveled during that time period too. I traveled up north and everything like that. And there was places
up north. Were you in Canada?
Up to Maryland and Pennsylvania, Virginia, and all that stuff. And let me tell you, the people they weren't going crazy wearing masks all that much. I mean, some people had masks on, but they weren't. Okay, I'm going to wear a mask. No, they weren't doing that, because guess what? Most of those people, they've gone through crap. They've had to. Talk about the pioneering spirit and all that stuff. Yeah. They've sucked it up, and those people, they just said, life continues on. We can't live in fear. We're going to continue living. And they just live. But what I was going to say, I traveled during that time period. I hardly wore a mask. The only time I wore it is when I thought, okay, all right, I'm going to be in close proximity to people that might be offended by the fact that I'm not wearing a mask. And I don't want to have any turmoil from them.
You don't want to have people get mad, or people were getting arrested and thrown off airplanes and shit like that. I will tell you this, Jammer, the air filtration on the airplane and the air filtration in the grocery store, but they upgraded it during COVID. And I think that's far more effective than masks, because that's filtering it out. Yeah. Like, I'm a person that believes in science, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think the vaccines are perfect, but I got my new COVID vaccine this year. I got the flu vaccine. That's just my personal choice. You seem like somebody who didn't get the COVID vaccine. That's okay, Cameron. I still love you, man. You're still. What about the flu vaccine?
I'm not looking down on you because you went out and got a vaccine. That was your choice. That was your personal choice, and if it makes you feel better and it makes you feel comfortable out there, then so be it. I'm 100% all for you doing it.
So not even the flu? You didn't even get the flu vaccine, Jammer? You're just going pants down naked? All right, cool.
I've done that. My mom constantly tells me to get the flu vaccine, and I was like, I got it one time, and I got the flu. Yeah. Didn't have the flu any other time in my life, But then I
I've
took
had
the
that
flu
happen, yeah.
vaccine and I got the flu. You know what? I'm not going through that. Screw it. I'll take my zinc,
gotten
my
sick after
vitamin C,
vaccine.
my echinacea, all that stuff. I'll
Yeah.
take that whenever I feel like I'm going to be exposed to germs. And guess what?
Sure.
That works better than anything else that has come around. In fact,
Yeah.
when I did get COVID, it was this year. I got it this year. And
Finally,
guess what?
got it.
I got a comment here.
Oh, probably somebody mad.
Why would you ever spit beer? I don't know. Shag Dog didn't care for Blue Moon, so yeah, he spit that.
Well, you
out.
guys have never spit out beer, but I think you might have given it a spit rating. Is maybe what they're talking about. Because you guys have given. But I don't think I've ever really heard you. I've listened to almost all your things. I don't think I ever remember you guys doing like that many spits. It's always like a swallow, maybe a D plus, like D plus in a swallow. Like it has to be. I mean, Blue Moon's not that bad, but I could see Shag Dog doing that because he hates wheat beers.
Hey,
Shag
all
Dog
beers are goods, just some vary in good.
I think that Shag Dog, he hates so many beer styles. Like, what does he even like? Like just stouts and porters?
Well, if you
And
remember
like
in some of the
ultra
videos,
light Michelob light like lagers, he likes,
some of the video intros and stuff like that. I love lagers.
Yeah. I know he likes his like lagers, but then he likes
he has grown. His palate has grown in the sense that there's IPAs that he likes.
There's IPAs. I was just about to say he likes some IPAs. I'll give him that. He used to hate
brown
IPAs.
ales. He likes more of the dark beers.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say brown ales too. You took the words right out of my mouth, man.
Porters,
but
spouts, brown ales.
Porters,
he likes the alt beer. He likes the
I guess the more amber alt beer. Yeah, that's like an amber type of. Yeah, he just doesn't like. I guess he doesn't like any of the Belgian wheat beers.
He doesn't like any of the Belgian beers from France and all that stuff. He got delirium
tremens. Yeah.
Yeah. That got him, if you remember, when we were doing that Franklin instead of when he drank that, he threw that up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how he feels about sours, but I feel like most of the time he doesn't like them. Maybe I don't know.
He doesn't mind some of them.
Sometimes, yeah.
But it's not his preference. I'm open to it all. I'll drink it. I don't give a crap. I won't waste it because it's beer.
I'm really picky with food, but I don't think there's a single beer style I don't like. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of one that if I had to say that, like what beer style do I dislike the most? Even though I like IPAs, I have to say, I don't know if you've ever had a triple IPA before. It's not a double, but it's actually a triple IPA.
Yeah.
And I think they're just so cloying that I end up just taking like a light lager and pouring some of it in there and kind of like cutting it with something because it's almost like getting an IPA concentrate, like, concentrated juice that you mix with water to then make the final product. Yeah. And they're often like 13, 14%. And honestly, if I'm going to do 13, 14%, I want it to be malty because I think that's more of an enjoyable experience. If you have that in a hoppy beer, the hops are going to be so like it's just so bitter and so cloying that it's just like I don't know. It's fun to try it, kind of like, I don't know if you've ever had like a really hot sauce, like the ones they feature on these shows. Like I'm talking like a million Scoville.
I've had some, and I don't care for any of them.
And it's like people just do it for fun at a party. They're like, all right, everybody has to get a chip of this. And
to me, it's not enhancing the flavor of the food. It's overpowering it. And what's the point of eating it?
Well, it's supposed to be a funny thing. People have these hot sauce parties now.
No, don't get me wrong. It's fun. It's interesting and everything. Yeah. But I like that heat. I like the peppers. I like the heat that actually complements or enhances the flavor of the food.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take Scotch bonnet sauce, Jamaican Scotch bonnet.
Yeah, I love Scotch bonnet.
You add it to like a beef stew or a beef
you get a nice hint in the background and it complements it. Yeah.
It complements it good. Just like jerk chicken, you have jerk chicken. It has that Scotch bonnet in it because it's the jerk seasoning and all that stuff. That it complements the chicken. Granted, some people make it to where it overpowers it, but
So I know that you probably eat a lot of fish because you're in Florida, and I will say you should experiment around with taking orange juice and adding like honey, serrano peppers, garlic, like kind of like getting this sweet, spicy thing. Like
I
going.
made salmon the other day, flown in from Alaska.
All right.
I made some salmon. The sauce I made was I poured some orange juice. I took some
Nice. That's the move, buddy. Yeah.
I took sweet soy sauce. I
Okay.
took Worcestershire, put that in there.
Nice.
Garlic, onion. It's a Jamaican seasonal type stuff. Put that in
All
there,
right.
and I put honey, orange blossom honey.
Dude, we're on the same page, Jammer. We're on the same
And then
page.
I had, granted, maybe overpowering in sweetness to a degree, but I put some sweet chili Thai in there too.
I think that was a good move, man, because I don't know what it is about the peppers complementing like the honey and the orange juice and stuff, because some peppers have kind of an earthy floral flavor to them too. It's almost like creating a beer where you have the sweet malts and then you want some herbal kind of like different sort of like non-sweet flavors. Yeah, do we have another comment?
No. But the other thing is that I use usually I would use orange juice and lemon juice together.
Okay.
And put the
lemon juice. Yeah. Lemon juice is underrated, man.
But then again, I used red wine vinegar too, and what is that? Red wine in general, you know, the red wine. Too. White wine, red wine.
Yeah, I mean, I like
beef,
red wine.
white wine on the fish. You know?
Yeah. Like if I'm doing like sometimes I'll just take some garlic, onion, mushroom, cook it down, add some red wine in. And then take some beef that's already been cooked. I guess it depends on the kind of beef. If it's a steak or something, I'm not going to mess with it. But if it's like a cheaper cut, I'll like cook it to like medium rare, and then I'll throw it in the pan so it could kind of get to more of like a medium and get in the sauce, you know, or like a medium well.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's like it's beef is like a little easier to see the doneness level. Like chicken, man, chicken's tough because you can't cut into it and necessarily judge where it's at because it can be different color depending on the cut. You have to use a
thermometer.
You do,
or poke it and get the clear juices running, you know.
Yeah, the clear juices running. I actually don't have a thermometer right now. I've always just done it by look and feel, and luckily that's worked. But I think that leads to overcooking though, because you want to make sure, you know, and like, you know, you don't want to like ride that line of. So yeah, they have those ones now that are Bluetooth. You just stick them in like, and they can be in the oven or in anything, you know. Like, so I need to get with the program on that. But Julia is vegan, so. I'm not vegan, but that makes me naturally have to eat a lot of plant-based because like we eat a lot of meals together. So I would say I'm like, it's actually what Arnold Schwarzenegger does. It's flexitarian. It's like 65% plant-based, 35% meat. And the good thing about that though is that my cholesterol has gone way down because all the vegan stuff's got no cholesterol in it.
Oh yeah.
But I will say though, sometimes I feel a little nutrient deficient and I might have to take an iron pill or take some B12. I don't think eating 100% plant-based is like natural or really.
I think you're supposed to moderation and mix it up, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah. And honestly, I do feel good if I just eat a big plate of vegetables with even like, so soy will not hurt a man if you do it in moderation. If you're eating soy every day, like these soy boy vegan people, you know, they're eating soy for every meal, all day, every day, all the time. I think that really can affect your hormones, but. There's been Chinese men that have been eating tofu in China for like thousands of years and they didn't turn into girls or whatever, you know, but I just think that like it's like anything, it's moderation. And there's other stuff, seitan, it's made of wheat gluten. There's all these, I really like Asian cooking and Asian cooking by nature because China's always been so big. There's so much poverty. Meat has always been like a treasure in China, right? So sometimes you would have tofu as your protein, but then you'd have a little bit of chicken or pork or beef you put in the broth, or a gizzard or a beef heart or something. You put anything in there to try to get some meat flavor, right? You're using like every part of the animal.
Yeah, I don't care too much for the beef heart flavor.
Well, they would just stick whatever, but I'm telling you, man, I don't know if
the reason why I don't care for that is because when I was in the meat business, we'd get the boxes of meat hearts in, and they would grind them up, and you could smell it, and it was horrible smell. And then you taste it in the burger, and it would be like, ugh, it's just.
Let me ask you this, Jammer: have you ever had just plain tofu with no seasoning?
Yeah, I don't particularly care for it.
I would say it's worse than beef heart. I say you throw a little black pepper, a little beef heart, a fucking shoe in there. It's gonna fucking taste better than just fucking plain.
You're probably right about that. Yeah.
Like, so
probably
I
right
think
about
it's just, and again, I think it's because they had different standards back then, man. Like, you were lucky to get any fucking food or whatever. Like,
Well,
you're
you
gonna
look
eat
at
chicken feet.
Japanese cooking and everything. I'd say that's really Japanese and Chinese cooking, like you were saying. They're right there with the healthy stuff. Granted, they use MSG and they use a lot of soy sauce or whatever and all that stuff in their cooking, and that has a lot of sodium. But
See, I do actually. What I do is I make everything from scratch. Usually, I cut out the MSG instead of regular soy sauce. I either get light soy sauce or tamari, which tend to be lower in sodium, and then I really got good at roasting garlic, where you cut the top off the main whole garlic, like like an individual garlic is called a clove. I don't know what you call like a whole bunch of cloves, but you slice the top off that, hit it with some olive oil, so I'll use lots of roasted umami flavored things with the because of my blood pressure. My blood pressure is not crazy bad, but I'm on lisinopril. We talked about this and stuff, and I try not to have. Dude, I looked up somebody asked me if I wanted to go to Panda Express, and I looked up how much sodium the orange chicken had. It was 7,000 milligrams of sodium for they said 2 portions. You're only supposed to eat 1, which would be 3,500 milligrams. But 1 portion, dude, is like this or something. It's if you just go and get their little boat they give you of rice and the orange chicken, it's astronomical.
Well, besides that, that's not the greatest Chinese food.
I'm just giving an example, or how
I'm just saying. I'm just letting it be known out there that that's not the greatest Chinese food.
So I love bean and cheese burritos from Taco Bell because it reminds me of a kid. That's what I ate all the time. Yeah. But dude, that's 1,275 milligrams of sodium, and that's before the sauce packets, which I would always add 4 for each burrito, and those are 100 each. So you're talking for 1 bean burrito with the hot sauce, 1,600 milligrams, which is honestly, you really shouldn't have more than 2,300 a day max. 1,500 should be what you aim for. Yeah. 2,300 should be the max, and 3,000 is the max for healthy adults. So if you have 2 bean and cheese burritos there with hot sauce, you're already done for the day. You would have to just eat vegetables and plain rice or something,
And even all those have sodium in it.
It depends. If you cook plain rice in a steamer Instapot and don't add anything, it's 0 sodium. Trust me, I know all the 0 sodium foods because I'm always or no salt added beans. The whole can is 45 milligrams for the whole can because it naturally has some salt. But I will tell you that no salt added beans taste almost like nothing. And so you have to then add veggies in. You got to add garlic. You got to add onion.
And I don't mind adding other seasoning in there because one of the big seasonings I go to is the smoked paprika.
Oh, that's a big one that gives you the smoky flavor. Yeah.
But in general, I don't mind adding garlic. I don't mind adding onion. I don't mind adding rosemary, thyme, and all these other seasonings and everything like that because it gives you a more unique or more interesting flavor.
And then a lot of fresh herbs, man. I watch a lot of cooking channels. I see them always chopping up fresh parsley and putting it on everything. I've started adding a lot of.
No, you can't see it because it's green. But I got thyme right here.
Oh, dude, yeah, fresh herbs are really good, man.
Yeah.
I'll show you some herbs I'm growing in here, and it's not the weed kind like you think. Although I need to get better at watering this because it's struggling a little bit because I had to bring it inside. But hold on. This is my mint plant I'm growing, and it looks okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's got some dry. It's a little mad because it's been cold. It hasn't been getting enough light and stuff. I got to water it more. It's a hardy plant, but I got to trim the dead stuff off. But there's we've been getting a lot of mint from that, man. And I've been, believe it or not, mint's used in a lot of kind of Middle Eastern cooking.
Yeah.
A lot of tabbouleh and tahini kind of stuff,
Yeah, I'm not too big on it, but I know some of it, and I don't mind some of it. So yeah.
And then we just got these basil growing kits for growing basil inside during the winter. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, just give me some mozzarella, some basil, some tomato, some yeast, flour, salt, water. I'll like make a basic pizza dough and like make a tomato sauce. Like I've gotten pretty serious, man. I actually boil my tomatoes now and then peel the skin off because that's how they do it. If you take the skins off, it's kind of a pain in the ass to do. But then you put those in a food processor, you blend it down, then you cook it down with some like herbs and some like, and it's got 0 sodium, dude. So I looked at, I think it was ragu, at Walmart, $1.50 cheap ragu. It said 1,500 milligrams per serving and 3.5 servings in the jar of tomato sauce. So I'm like, I usually use like a whole jar of that to make spaghetti or something, and that's 4,000 milligrams just for the sauce. Yeah. And then what if you add in meat or you add in cheese? All of a sudden, you got a thing of spaghetti that's 8,000 milligrams of sodium.
And you know what's also the other issue that I have with ragu, Prego, and all them?
Probably all the preservatives and all the shit they put in there. Maybe
the preservatives and the sodium, you'll see it. Ragu, not so much. It depends on which you buy, but
Prego
in particular, and that's my favorite bottled sauce is Prego.
It tastes good. Yeah.
It's thick and everything. Is that it says made with bioengineered ingredients. And I'm like, I'm not your guinea pig. All right. So quit trying to make me your guinea pig. And Campbell's soup. I used to buy Campbell's soup as all right, not the greatest soup. It's high in sodium and all that stuff, all that preservative crap and everything. But I used to buy it because if I really needed something to eat really fast, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Add water, boom, done. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now all their canned goods say made with bioengineered.
Made with bioengineered.
And guess what? I wrote them a little thing on their to talk about comments or questions. So I wrote them and I said, same thing with Prego. I said, lifelong Campbell's fan, buy a customer buying your stuff, lifelong Prego customer, da-da-da-da-da. I have given up your product now. I've gone to a more healthier alternative. The only reason I went that avenue is because you're making it with bioengineered ingredients. I could have tolerated the salt. I could have done all that stuff. I could have overlooked all that. But then I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore,
Yeah.
And I wrote them, and their response was, "Oh, we're sorry to hear." That was it.
Yeah. At least they responded.
Didn't bother to give me coupons because they knew I wasn't going to take them.
Oh yeah, you weren't going to be. You should have phrased it different so they gave you coupons.
Oh no, but no, man. Want it either.
So I really love chili, but I have to make my own chili at home now because the canned stuff is like, dude, I can make an entire crock pot that tastes great for the same amount of sodium as they have in one fucking can.
First of all, canned chili doesn't taste as good as your homemade.
It doesn't anyway. Yeah, like fresh made chili is way better.
Yeah, I will say chili.
Yeah, and dude, now I'm doing it almost from scratch. So I'm not taking. I guess I could go one step further and get dry beans and actually make the beans from dry beans. But I do get the canned beans. Yeah. But everything else is like fresh chopped ingredients. I put fresh onion, fresh garlic, fresh bell pepper, fresh jalapeno, poblano. Then I usually go. My secret ingredient is apple cider vinegar and a dash of nutmeg. Both are like add a little tang and a little, I do smoke paprika in there for sure. Then there's cumin. You got to have cumin.
Yeah, of course.
Then I'll do black and white pepper, Himalayan pink sea salt. And then
you're talking about, sorry to interrupt, but you're talking about all this stuff and it made me think of something that I've been tinkering with here lately, and that's mustard powder.
Oh, dude, I've been using mustard powder. So when I make my baked beans, mustard powder is a big ingredient for my baked beans. So for my baked beans, so I don't know if you knew this. I just recently learned this. Molasses a lot of times is in baked beans, right? But did you know that brown sugar has molasses in it? The difference between brown and white sugar is they extract the molasses out of the sugar. It turns it into white sugar. I didn't know that. I didn't know that the sugar that came from sugar canes, it's brown, and it has, because of the molasses. So I use mustard powder, black pepper, brown sugar, touch of maple syrup, definitely the smoked paprika, give the smokiness. And then sometimes I'll even do a squirt of a little bit of yellow mustard in there and maybe a squirt of ketchup. and then just tons of like you have to have tomato in there, but I usually get the fire roasted tomato for my baked beans, and then I blend it down in the NutriBullet and I put it in there, so I got like smoky fire roasted flavors. And then Worcestershire sauce you definitely want to put in there. I never can say that right, but that's a good one for that umami kind of flavor. But like dude, I love mustard powder. Can really elevate stuff, man.
Yeah, it enhances salsas completely. So I was just thinking,
It does,
putting mustard in chili would be, something.
I think I've done that before. It's not my. I'll have to do it more. It's not on my like regular routine, but
mustard powder that is. Yeah.
No, the mustard powder. Yeah.
I added mustard powder to a dish here not too long ago that I made, and my wife tasted it and she really liked it. I said, "Oh, okay." I put that in the back of my head. I'm like, "Oh, she really liked it," and everything like that. Okay, so and I liked it, so I'm like, "Okay, mustard powder helped there." Because it was the only thing I did different.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of young men these days don't know how to cook. And I feel like it's a good way to get points with your loved one if you're a man, right? Because, there's a classic thing, men don't know how to cook and women have to cook all the meals. And it's fine if women cook the meals and stuff, but I think they appreciate a man who can cook. I think it gets you some points, right?
Well, first of all, I think it gives you points, but first of all, I would do it for my own survival.
Me too. I'm just saying there's that
First
benefit
and foremost,
of
I'm not going to starve because I don't have a woman in my life.
True. And that's how I learned to cook, right? And then during the pandemic, I really had to up my game because it was such a pain in the ass to go out and try to buy stuff and like get stuff delivered. Like I was just like, I really need to take my cooking to the next level. But I noticed that like I've taken over the past couple of years. I'm like the main cook here now. And I've noticed, like, I have more of a flexible. Oh, nice burp! you kept that one going, man. That was like, I'm like Kanye. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'll make it quick and just say that I noticed when she'd get home from a hard day's work, if like, I cook more when I have the day off for a shorter day, and just home cooked meal of really badass food that's better than we could get eating out or the same level. It's just like a relief for her. She's just like, oh man, like food's ready. We didn't have to order anything. It's healthier, and then I like the compliments I get too. It's like both of us are getting a boost in our mood. She's like, oh man, thank you for having dinner ready. And I'm like, oh geez, thanks for the compliment. If they're like, oh my gosh, this is so delicious. It's like nice to get the validation too,
Yeah. Definitely something you could play with too is because I'm sure you use it too. The air fryer, of course, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the crock pot, you can make some awesome dishes with a crock pot, and you don't even have just throw it all in there and turn it on and let it do its thing. I used to do that when I was single, and I would be at work for 12 hours, and I'd come back home, and my house would be filled with the aroma of beef stew.
Yeah, chili's perfect for that.
Yeah.
Also, somebody once told me like the easiest like lazy college recipe was get like 2 pounds of chicken, 2 jars of salsa, put it in the crock pot, add some water and some spices, and then when you come back, it's like pulled chicken. It's like, and you just throw it in some tortillas, add some cheese or whatever in there, and you got like fucking, then you got leftovers for 2 days too,
Yeah.
But hey, man, do you want to do it? Do you want to do another video? Because we're at like 118 on this.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I need to get another beer and throw it on here. So I'll
I need to get another beer and take a piss. I need to go take a leak. I don't know how you lasted this long, Jamie.
I evacuated myself earlier.
Okay, all right. Like I said, I'm kind of like I've been up since 5 a.m. my time, so I'm on like this is hour 8 now of my Jimmy Buffett like experience, day drinking experience. So, so I didn't mean, but you know what, dude? I think I've only had 6 beers, so I'm averaging less than 1 an hour. I've just been sipping. I think if you're gonna kind of like Jimmy Buffett holiday day drink, if you just go crazy, you're just gonna get knocked out. Then you're gonna feel like shit because you're gonna wake up and it's like 6 o'clock and you've been fucking sleeping all day.
Yeah. Well, I whenever I was down,
I know you have a different schedule though. Yeah, your schedule's all kind of.
When I was down in the Keys, Shag Dog and I, along with a couple of people, we were down there in we were bar hopping, and I can remember us going from bar to bar and not feeling drunk because we would drink, and while we were there, we were talking, doing stuff, talking to people, everything like that, and we were drinking one beer here, and then maybe another beer, and then we'd go to the next bar, drink another beer, and sit and talk, and da 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 da, and then we'd go to the next, and we were spreading it out like you're doing, and so we drank a lot, but it was over a long period of time, and so we just had like maintained like a little minimal of a buzz, to where we were
like
feeling good.
Enough.
Yeah, we were feeling nice and toasty and enjoying the whole experience of being there bar hopping. So
no, I will say
you don't want to start power drinking and drink 5 beers while you're at that one bar and then go to the next bar, or 5 beers in 1 hour, then by next hour do another 5 beer, and next hour do another 5. You don't want to do that kind of crap, especially if you're doing it for 12 hours.
Also, I think the reason bar food was invented is that if you, and I know that Jimmy Buffett knew this, if you have too big of a meal in like the middle of your, like if you've just been sipping beers and all of a sudden you eat like 2 huge cheeseburgers and fries and have a big gut bomb, you're down. Because you're not going to be able to get your buzz back because you got and then you're done. So I've just had like small snacks today so far because I knew if I'm just nursing beers, but all of a sudden my buzz is going to be gone. I'm going to get tired and then boom, I'm going to go. Yeah. So it's
and the thing about that is that that's why you usually have popcorn and pretzels at bars.
Or beer nuts,
Beer nuts, nuts is another one, beer nuts.
No, it's just something you want to get snack something in your stomach. Yes, snack on. But I think it's kind of an art to like maintain this mild buzz, have some snacks and drink some water so you're not just getting sick. Yeah.
Whenever Shag Dog and I would go down to the karaoke and all that stuff, he would be drinking and he would always wake up the next day all hungover and everything. But I would drink and then I would have a glass of water, and have another beer and have another glass of water. I was going back and forth. He finally learned it and would do that when he was drinking hard liquor and everything. But whenever I was drinking, I would try to get a lot of water, and then before going to bed, I'd get something to eat.
Yeah, that's when you want to get something to eat. You snack all night, then you get something like right before bed, and then that knocks you out too. You're just like, all right, now you're full. It's and it's satisfying.
It helps you with the alcohol,
It does because it kind of absorbs it, and and honestly, there's nothing like a nice like finally getting a meal after drinking. You snack and stuff, and you're kind of like you're holding the hunger back because I can't. Then when you're like, okay, it's time, you crush that shit. Like eat a couple pieces of pizza, which. Man, now, like, honestly, I have to make my own pizza now because it gives me fucking heartburn if I go to, like, Papa John's or something, dude. I make it at home, and I make my own tomato sauce. It's, like, fresh from real tomatoes. I don't get heartburn.
Yeah.
I
know what you mean.
So,
and you know what's crazy, too, is whenever I would day drink, I can remember we're out and about and the sun's shining and it's just like a surreal moment where you're looking out and the sun it's hard for me to describe, but it's kind of surreal because the sun's shining, it's warm and everything looked brighter, more. It's like you take those enhanced lenses, what do they call them, a blue blocker type thing, and put them on, and it like everything becomes sharper and clearer and more enhanced, more color and everything. For me, I'd be day drinking and be out in the outside and man, I would look at everything and everything was so much bolder in color, so much live and everything like that. And one of the things I would really want to have when I was at that peak and was getting ready to go down and all that stuff for the day is a steak and potato. A nice steak and a potato, and I would head to get a steak and potato, and I'd have that steak and that nice baked potato.
I think people make the mistake with bread because bread actually Have you ever gotten heartburn from just eating French bread? It's really weird that like sometimes bread can give you heartburn because of the additives they add in there, sodium, bicarbonate, all these weird things. But potatoes, they have an absorbent quality, but especially if you've been drinking beer, you've already had a lot of wheat and barley and everything.
Yeah.
I feel like switching to the potato, it's a different type of carb. And then having that good steak for the iron and the protein, the two together, man.
Yeah.
And I will say,
of
dude,
course, it tasted better too.
of course, yeah. And I will say that because I'm becoming more of an adult in my 40s finally, I like vegetables a little more. And I will say that some properly cooked asparagus is bomb, especially with some steak and potatoes, dude. Like asparagus.
Let me tell you, when I was cooking, there was several times whenever I would do beer reviews and everything, and at my, Shag Dog come over to my house and we'd do beer reviews and everything.
Yeah.
There's several times where I would cook for myself after he left. I'd get me some asparagus, toss that in there and get that going, and I'd get me a steak going, I'd have baked potato going, and I'd have some peas or green beans.
That's always good too, man. Yeah.
Spinach.
Spinach is always good with steak and potatoes. Yeah, classic steakhouse combination.
And all that stuff together and everything, and baked beans even, for that matter. And I'd have that asparagus. Always like that, having asparagus. My wife can't stand it, but I enjoy it.
Man, I think it has to be fresh.
Everybody I know can't eat it, but I eat it.
We have very similar tastes, man, from the orange juice and honey, like, whoa, connection and asparagus.
Mushrooms, too. That's another one that nobody likes, but I'll eat mushrooms.
So we have a famous mushroom farm out here called Hazel Dell Mushroom Farm. And they make these gourmet mushrooms. You go in and you buy the mushrooms and they put them in a paper bag and they give them to you because that's how you're supposed to store them in the fridge, really, is in a paper bag. But they have lion's mane, shiitake, lobster mushrooms, which taste like a lobster, and then the oyster mushrooms. So they have like these really nice gourmet mushrooms, man. And they're so fresh. They stay good in the paper bag for like 3 weeks, like versus the stuff you buy at the store, it goes quick. And man, oh shit, I wish I could ship them to you or something, man. I don't think I would ship well, but they're so good, man.
All we can get in the store here, unless you go to a specialty store or something like that, you
Portobello,
get some shiitake and portobello, but it's
Portobello,
white mushrooms.
Yeah. Sometimes there's the baby bella, right? Which are like the mini portobellos. Yeah, the baby bella is usually a little better. Yeah, I can tell you know your mushrooms, man. But the other day I just had some of the white mushrooms, and I had like do you guys have the cheese stores in the supermarkets, like Murray's Cheese Shop? They have the gourmet cheeses, and it's like a little cheese area.
No, not really.
Maybe in Publix or something. I don't know. I thought maybe they'd have something like that there.
Publix has just the regular cheese, They have it all there, and there's some specialty cheeses in the deli and stuff like that. But
well, we have a little. There's a nationwide chain called Murray's Cheese Shop, and they're in Kroger. I don't think you guys have Kroger grocery. Do you guys have Kroger grocery stores there? Or is it just that?
I don't think there's any Kroger grocery stores here anymore, but we have Kroger delivery.
That I remember you saying that. So in the Kroger grocery stores here, they have a Murray Cheese Shop, which is basically all gourmet cheeses, and it's a circular little shop, and it's just you the whole circle is kind of filled with cheeses. It's like by category. And they have a lot of clearance stuff because they have so many cheeses there. I wait for them to go 50% off. And I got some like really nice, like legit Parmesan, like, not the fake Parmesan stuff that's normally it was a tiny wedge that normally would have been $15 that I got for $7.50, which even was still expensive.
Yeah.
But I had some white mushrooms and I took my fingers, I tore the stems out and created a little hole. And I did Parmesan stuffed mushrooms with a little bit of breadcrumbs in them and some herbs, dude. And Julia was like blown away. It was easy to do. I just filled mushrooms with cheese.
Now, granted, she's not going to like it, but you'll like this. Do the same thing, but take the stem, chop it up, add it back into it.
Oh, okay.
And add ham to it. Or bacon. Okay. Little pieces of bacon, chop it all up and put it all in there with the cheese and everything. Maybe even put some mozzarella or provolone or Colby. Gouda. Gouda would be good. On there.
Yeah.
Put it all in there and throw it in the oven and bake it. bring it out when it's done and it's cooked real good and the natural juices just flowing in it, and
Yeah.
and you'll like it because it has the ham or the bacon in it and all that stuff too, and you're not wasting the stems either.
Yeah, I guess maybe I should have said the stems. They were some clearance mushrooms I had bought. It was like $1.27 for a big thing. So I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna rip these stems out, shove them with, cheese.
That's the funny thing. I'll chop it all up and make a stuff like you're doing, putting the breadcrumbs and all that stuff in
That's
there.
That's a good idea, though. Yeah, it's probably good.
There.
Yeah, I'll have to remember that. It was
whatever I have left over, I'll just sprinkle on the top anyway.
Yeah, maybe I should be more mindful on the stem usage. Normally, I keep the stem. Normally, when I roast mushrooms, I keep the stem on and I just cut them and I bisect them, and then just they have the stem and everything on them. I haven't really done a lot of stuffed mushrooms, to be honest, and these were small little guys too. They were button mushrooms, so I could barely even fit cheese into the little hole. I was just like shoving it down with some like.
No, you had a good. I mean, I was just saying.
Yeah,
with the white mushrooms I get, or portobello or whatever like that, I've done it a few times. I haven't done a lot, but it's been over the years, that I would do that stuff and toss it in the oven. Nobody else likes them except me, so when I do them, I have to cook them for me, and because my wife doesn't care much for it, and my sister, they don't like it, so I only do it for myself. So I've experimented with it whenever I've done it to come up with flavors that I like, and the ham and the bacon type thing that really it tastes good in that because you get the smokiness to it with the smoked bacon and all that stuff, smoked ham. Yeah.
The best thing I make with mushrooms is actually technically it has dairy, so it's not vegan, but I make a mushroom beef stroganoff that just has thin sliced seared mushrooms in it, and it's almost like a mushroom soup, but I serve it with bow tie pasta. So you have bow tie pasta pieces and that like nice white sauce with mushroom in it. And it's a nice, just hearty, like, it has like cream and cheese and stuff in it, but it's nice and hearty, and honestly, I feel better eating more vegetables. I'm the kind of person, if I didn't have somebody making me eat vegetables, I would just eat cheese, meat, potatoes, and bread. I probably would never even have any nutrients at all.
Well, that sounds like Shag Dog. Shag Dog, he doesn't eat very many vegetables. He eats more of the processed meats.
Yeah. Just like deli meat on like a sandwich with a piece of cheese or something and just eating that.
Yeah.
But it's okay. He's Shag Dog's sort of like stuck in college, but that's what I like about him. He's kind of permanent, like college mode on cooking.
If you remember Wayne's World, you remember that?
Wayne's
World. Well,
do you have any Great Poupon?
And Garth, Wayne and Garth, where were they at? The place they hung out at was in the basement.
Yeah.
He kind of live at mom and dad's basement type thing,
There was one time I was doing a video with Shag Dog, and his mom was trying to give him food, and he said, "No, Mom, I'll eat dinner in a minute," and he had to shoo her away.
Yeah.
And I gave him some shit. I was like, "Your mom making you dinner, huh?"
Never.
So I feel like
get upset with your mom cooking for you. Always appreciate it.
Sure. And I feel like his mom probably made him eat some vegetables. That's probably his healthiest meal of the day is eating whatever his mom made.
And the thing about it, he'll say, my help.
Yeah. No, it's funny. It's funny. I need to talk to him.
He's one of the few adults I know that he does a lot of things that you would think he's doing for himself, but he does it for others without you really thinking that.
Yeah.
I think the reason why he lives there is to be there for his mom more than he does it for himself, because in reality, he could probably live on his own cheaper because he buys his own food. He does does all that stuff. He pitches in, pays rent, all that kind of stuff. So when it comes right down to it, he could probably live cheaper on his own. But you never know,
Yeah.
But that's the feeling I get, and I respect him for that. If he's there to be there for his mom and dad. So
Yeah. No, that's for sure. Do you have another beer you can do, or are you going to get
yeah,
another beer?
let's do it. Let's do it. Let me give you.
No, I didn't know if you even had any left, or if
Yeah,
you.
I got several beers lined up, but yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing. Spit or Swallow Beer Reviews Christmas Extravaganza into New Year's. We'll see you on it. I'm Jammer.
I'm Jam the Fanboy.
We'll see you on the next one. We'll be right back in about 5-10 minutes at the most. All right. Later. Hasta luego.